All right, folks, it's another Friday in the life of the world. So we say welcome one and all to another date on the Journalist Hangout Show. From here, I'm Citizen Jones. Welcome. You know, today on the program, more crisis brewing in the APC, just as court stops suspension of National Vice Chairman, restrains party from interfering in his duties as officer. Hear this, 4 policemen arrested for extrajudicial killing of 2 unarmed phone thieves in viral video. They have been dismissed and remanded by court. And later on this one, new theater commander of Operation LAFIYA DOLE vows to take the battle to Boko Haram, just as the insurgents attack village in Dalori district, 10 kilometers from the capital, Maiduguri. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Always ready for a Friday, Jide?
Yes, it's a massive job.
But on a Friday, one is subdued.
No, not all the time.
Yeah, because on a Friday, you would have seen 99.
Yes, but I'm looking forward to seeing 100.
Let's find out. Now, Dr. Oladipo is making his debut. So we welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
I tell you, you look very well fed. Good for you. Good.
But not as well fed as my host and brother.
You measure body with him?
Ah, well, very close to that.
All right, so the team is ready. I hope you are. You know, American comic and TV star Groucho Marx captured it graphically when he observed that, quote, politics is the art of looking for trouble, finding it everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedies, end quote. Ruling party, the APC, always dealing many cards at the same time, is hoping to ride the storm yet again, as the High Court of Justice in Sokoto State has restrained the party from suspending the National Vice Chairman, Northwest Zone of the party, Alhaji Inuwa Abdulkadri. Justice Dogon Daji also granted an injunction stopping the leadership of the APC from meddling in the duties of Alhaji Abdulkadri as a principal officer of the ruling party. You talk about, Jide, you talk about desperate men creating desperate situations.
And you know, the political game in Nigeria, more often than not, is a zero-sum game. It's a game in which cold individuals are always eager to destroy those they perceive as their enemies or those who threaten their interests. Abdulkadri's...
No wonder you say friendship not permanent or enmity
not
permanent.
In Nigerian politics,
friendship is permanent.
Friendship, they want permanent. To see friendship as permanent. So where it appears that a friend is drifting away, then they want to destroy that friend totally, you know, so that it does not constitute a threat to their own interest.
Yeah.
Abdulkadri's friendship with Tambuwal, the governor of Sokoto State, who left the APC, is the source of his problem. They've been friends for many years. They are both from Sokoto. And within his ward, some persons complained that Abdulkadri was no longer attending meetings of the party, that he had failed to renounce his allegiance to Tambuwal. Of course, when the leadership of the APC hears this kind of stories, you expect their blood to boil. Then the secretary at the ward level constituted a committee, including the secretary of the party at the ward level. And the result at that little level that he had to be expelled. They passed their resolution to the state chapter. The state chapter adopted their resolution and forwarded same to APC national headquarters.
And the long knives.
And then Oshomole, the party chairman, the national chairman, constituted a disciplinary committee headed by Otobani Adebayo, the new minister for industry. But at the time that, at the time when Neyi called him to say, look, we want to see you. He told him,
Abdul Kadri.
Yeah, Abdul Kadri. Abdul Kadri told him, look, this notice is short. I'm in Sokoto at this time. And there's no way I can meet the deadline to show up. And then the matter was in court. So he wasn't keen to face them since the matter was in court. Just like in the National Assembly, once the matter is in court, everyone pulls back. So he didn't see any need to face them since the matter was in court. And then we had that press release by this party publicity secretary saying that he had been suspended. But the court has now said, no, you cannot.
But he couldn't have taken the decision unilaterally.
Who?
The secretary, the publicity secretary.
No, he was merely announcing that he did not show up, that he did not avail himself of the opportunity of defending himself. But the matter was in court, so the man didn't feel any need to go and face them. In any case, the NWC has no power to punish anyone by the constitution of the APC. So he just stayed away, believing that he had not done anything wrong. So if there is going to be, if you are going to be punished for any crime, at the state level, at the state chapter ought to constitute a disciplinary committee and provide you with the opportunity to defend yourself.
Yeah.
So he is claiming that nobody called him at the time they were trying him at that micro level, that he was not invited to defend himself and all that. So the NWC cannot by itself take a decision. It has to be at that level that a decision will be taken, and then they will see what could be done. It's just like someone getting up and say, Oshomole has stolen money. That's at in Edo State. Someone protests. In Edo State, Oshomole stole so much money, he should leave. And then the NWC will now take a decision. No, by the letters of the Constitution.
To the state
yes,
level.
By the letters of the Constitution, the decision has to be taken at that level, you know, for them to...
And then the
and there must be room for the person to defend himself.
You know, Dotun, in politics, you know the wild dogs. Politics is like a pack game. You move with the crowd. If you fall down and they see you cannot meet up, everybody comes after at you, you know. So the APC in the picture again.
Well, I'm not surprised these things are happening. I will continue to say that in Nigeria, and from what I have seen so far, we don't have political parties.
What do you have?
What we have are just gatherings of
like-minded people?
Not like-minded, they are not. Gathering of people whose sole aim is to control the treasury of the country. That's all I see. Because if there were to be political parties, some of these abnormalities, some of these anomalies that we see, they wouldn't exist. There are laid down procedures for things to be done. You just can't wake up and say, because I don't like this man, or because this man, who is supposed to be my friend, that we are in the same clique, seeking for the Commonwealth, is now looking at my enemy and fraternizing with him. Then it becomes a problem.
So the enemy of my enemy is my enemy.
So once it gets to the point where we are ready to throw the rules and regulations
overboard,
there is bound to be chaos. There is bound to be crisis.
But are you seeing anything beyond here?
Well, what I'm saying is the fear that this man who is supposed to be with us in APC has a friend who is in PDP. Are we likely to be able to, without him, take over this state in future?
Doctor, sometimes you are tempted to ask if this suspicion is right. Suspicions like this. Is it? Well, does it follow?
It's all about permutations.
Okay.
Once a round of election ends, we always preparing for the next one. No governance. That's what I see most times. People are already talking of 2023.
Yeah.
Some are already laying permutations for 2027.
I was your friend before any bad blood. After an election, I can't be seen as fraternizing with you. Fraternizing, I use it loosely as a loose term.
Yes. No, from the cliques that we have, because like I said, I don't see political parties. From the cliques that we have, that is what happens. People see, okay, this last election, why did we lose? Yeah. Maybe because this man did not do enough.
Okay.
Since his friend was involved, he pulled back. So we lost.
No questions are asked.
No questions. So how do we take him out of the way? So that the next election, we are in a position to overrun the place.
Jide, but this is not the idea of politics and politicking.
Yes.
It cannot be.
That's why I said that politics in Nigeria is a cruel game, and the practitioners, the political practitioners, are most of the time ruthless. They show no mercy. When they have the opportunity, they descend on you and make sure that you do not get a chance of a fight back. Mm. So they've lost, the APC lost that election in Sokoto, and the feeling that many people have is that APC lost because all of the APC elements, the powerful people in the party, did not come together. There were divisions, really. For example, the choice of the governorship candidate did not appeal to everyone in the party. They just felt that, look, Margaret Takadawamako brought his stooge and wanted to impose his stooge on everyone. So that caused some people to support Tambuwal because they felt Tambuwal was better. And I predicted that Tambuwal would win the election. 2 times I predicted he would win the election. So many people felt that people stayed within the APC and worked against the party. So Abdul Kadri looks like a scapegoat now. Looks like a scapegoat at this time. So the elections are over, but they've gone for him. Maybe in Adamawa, where the party also failed to retain the state, they will still go after some people.
Who knows? Who knows? So, Dr. you were going to say a little something? No?
Yes, I was just going to add that. Until we get some of these things right, we can't be said to be practicing democracy. The parties that we have don't belong to the people. Perhaps some of the things that we've had a couple of times, so maybe some of us were not old enough to actually see what happened in the First Republic and didn't really partake in the Second Republic.
Yeah.
But we heard of it. People had their...
I saw a bit of it, but never understood the dynamics at the time. Okay.
But we read a few things.
Okay, the debate will continue. In politics, nothing is permanent. In politics, nothing is permanent. All right, then, there may not be many things worth living for in our country, and neither are there some worth dying for. But then, should there be any worth killing for? Well, some villainous policemen who prefer living dangerously revel in shedding blood for the flimsiest of excuses. The news is that 4 killer cops, an inspector, 2 sergeants, and a corporal, decided that 2 suspected phone thieves must meet their Waterloo extrajudiciously. For this, the Lagos State Police Command also determined it must make a concise statement. And so PPRO of the command, DSC Bala Elkanah, revealed an orderly room trial found the offending officers culpable and are therefore dismissed, but will be charged to court. Is there a more effective deterrence? But let's share some footage with you before we get talking.
You go collect. Hey, you go collect. You go collect. Both of them. See this one. Oh God, too. I don't kill you. You must go. You have to shame. Use God. Use God. See the other one for inside. See the other one, carry gun. You carry gun. You carry gun. Come on, man, down. Man, keep. Don't worry, man,
Well, it looks very much like something from the movies, you know. But this is real, Jide, in pictures, in graphic details.
Yes.
The Nigeria Police, 2019.
You see, we talk about the Nigerian police all the time. There are excellent officers in the Nigerian police. There are officers in the Nigerian police who will not take any bribe from you, who will refuse to be bribed. Incorruptible officers. We've singled some of them out for praise for their work for their nation. Remember the immediate past Commissioner of Police in Osun State, you know, whom everyone agreed was an incorruptible police officer, the man from Kwara.
Just that from
Kwara.
Yeah. Just that they're few and
I
far
think
between.
he's the head of SAS now, the federal SAS.
Yeah. There are few, but they are few and far between.
There are few, but the police in Nigeria appears to be bursting at the seams with irresponsible psychopaths, people who are simply bloodthirsty. They want to kill at the slightest opportunity. Because when you listen to even what those guys were saying, one of them was saying, no worry, make I kill him, make I kill him, make I kill the idiot. It's so pathetic. We just couldn't afford to show Nigerians the point where that boy gets killed.
Yeah.
Because it's not what people want to see. It's painful enough that this has happened. And it keeps happening. The IG said some time ago that even that they should start using stun guns, that the police should begin to think about stun guns. I want to see us get to that point. Because the IG must admit at this point that he has so many responsible officers just wearing the uniform and giving the police a bad name. Soldiers kill them. We are angry with soldiers. We condemn the soldiers. We told the soldiers in plain language that what they have done can never be accepted in a decent society. But look at the police. Shortly after that one happened, they too have gone to kill innocent people.
I mean, innocent in quotes, not to say anybody.
No, they think, okay, they too have gone to kill people in cold blood. Because those boys, as far as we are concerned, those boys were restrained. They had no guns on them. They were, but
they allegedly disposed, dislodged telephones from people.
That's what we had. We didn't see it happen.
Allegedly.
Even if that was the case, we didn't see it happen. And many innocent people have been killed in the past, lied against by people desperate to eliminate them. I'm not saying these ones were totally innocent. But even if someone stole a phone, you as the policeman, you are not the court of law. Yeah. It is the court of law that should pronounce judgment whether that person deserves to live or not. And up to today, in our country, except in committing armed robbery, you took a life, you do not deserve to die. So they have no right, just because they are carrying a gun, to just waste people. A policeman got drunk the other day, went into a beer parlor, and was killing people here. What kind of people are in the police?
Good, Doctor. I like his language and the spirit, but then Jide must be told that we produce these policemen.
Well,
they come from this society.
Yes, they are just a reflection of the community. They can't be better than what the society is. But maybe slightly I'll take a position that might not be too comfortable.
Agreeable. Okay.
Yes. The point at which those guys were shot, if you follow through with the video, it had the support of the people who were around. Why? They said the guys threatened them with guns. The boys. And for anyone who has gone through the agony of having armed robbers, terrorizing, the kind of pity you are going to feel might not be as much. I am supporting the position of the law. Those guys should not have been killed. But I've stepped out from my house to the front of my house to drive out in my car, which I left outside because I was thinking, okay, it's our wedding anniversary. Let's just leave the car outside, take a shower and go. And 3 young men just came out of a car. They took me away in the car. I left my wife to be sure that there was no security on it.
Who drove?
Then one of them drove, pointing gun at me. 3 of them. So anybody who has gone through that kind of horror will take the position of those guys who are with the policemen.
Yeah.
But that does not justify that killing at that point. It does not justify the wasting of those men, because that is totally against the law. But what we should be looking at now should be 2 things. 1, the security of the country, and then number 2, how to have the responsible
humaneness of a policing system.
Yes, how to even have responsible security agents.
Yeah.
Not only the police, it's all over. But because they are the first line for civil order, theirs bothers us more. And something should be done. It is not enough for us to just announce we are doing recruitment and then all manner of people fall in, including armed robbers.
Doctor, when you hear of mob justice,
yes,
not by the police now or the armed men, how do you react?
I feel bad too.
Okay. Why do you feel bad?
I feel bad because in some cases, these people have been found to be innocent. Yes. It's just somebody who gets excited and says, thief, 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 and then they begin, and then you get to the point they say, no, he has done nothing. There have been videos like this that we have seen, people accused of stealing something, and then at the end of the person, no, this person did not do it. If there was a female involved one day, and they had beaten her, stripped her naked, and then they found out she did nothing. The phone they were looking for was with the woman who was selling and shouting that this lady had taken her phone. It was under a wrapper that they discovered it.
Okay. And that's how they could have killed her.
They could have killed her.
Yeah. Jide, but again, you go to the root. We had talked about this before here. Recruiting stage is where this thing will go awry, or recruit. So, because when you talked about fine officers and gentlemen, let me say it here. The late Chief J. Usen was a good officer, fine gentleman. Yes. He no chop bribe till he die. Mm-hmm. So, and training.
Police commissioner here in Lagos.
Training of policemen was regimented. Thorough.
Let me tell you now go and look at the training institutions, the police training institutions. Some of them now are worse than pigsties. Some of them, you look at them, no furniture, no window. People go to conduct exams for policemen. Senior policemen go to conduct exam for policemen, and they are made to sleep on tables.
Yeah, floor.
The institutions, the schools where detectives are trained in the police are literally moribund. We don't fund them. We've left them in a terrible state, and we want to have the right policemen. No, you will only have policemen who are probably worse than Boko Haram. That's what you have. There's absolutely no reason in the world to shoot anyone. If they told you that those boys threatened them with gun, you never found any gun on them. Those guys who were shot, the police never found any gun on them. And I'm saying it because that is the truth. Is one person repeatedly saying, oh, he threatened me with gun, he threatened me with gun. And then you just on account of that say, oh, let me be the one to shoot him. Is that the kind of training that they are given? Let me be the one to shoot him. Leave the place. He felt that shooting that person is like being in raptures. I mean, I don't understand. What do they teach these people? What do they tell them? The senior police officers who have excelled from from bottom to the top. Don't these ones who are probably worse than vermins, don't they try to learn from the people who have made it in the police? Is this how those ones? Is this how they comported themselves? Going about simply killing people. Someone lodges a report against another person. You go to pack those persons, and then.
And lamentably, my police has become.
That is why for many people, even when this thing happened to the police, when the army wasted those boys, so many people didn't show sympathy.
Yeah.
But we are always on the side of the truth. We will always be biased on the side of the truth. And we say, look, what happened was wrong. What happened in Taraba was wrong. Forget about what the army had done, police had done in the past. Killing Dele Udo, killing all those people. The Nigerian police has a terrible reputation for wasting Nigerians, including innocent people.
Doctor, you know, let's go a little back. In the Jonathan years, a popular TV station in the country came out with an exclusive, went to the police college, Ikeja, and showed the underbelly of the police college. And so you thought something should have been done. Is this our way of reacting to things?
Well,
is the problem institutional?
I grew up in that place, so I was alarmed and ashamed that could have happened to that place. It was a training ground. I didn't join the police, but I have the discipline of the old police because that was where I was brought up. The barracks was a place to be. So it's a shame that we get to this point where, because we have politicized virtually everything in the country, we are where we are. Until we go back and begin to look at these things like my colleague said, to address them, one, starts with having a database in this country. It is not that every time we want to have election, people must come and queue to do registration.
And I remind you, in those far off years, if you meant to join the police, Jide, your village head would attest to it. Look, we know this boy.
Yes. Join the police.
Yes. So
former President Obasanjo said so.
It's difficult to understand how we got to where we are. Because somehow, if you look at it, the years are so short that we went from being good to bad. I mean, if things were going to go wrong, it should have taken a period of time. But it was so short, meaning that we just lost it completely.
But it said the morass came in the immediate aftermath of the civil war, right? Wrong?
Well, so we were told. But then we also had that the intervention of the military, which came really after the civil war, was the major cause of this. But from what we are told all of the time, the military is supposed to be a disciplined institution. So how did we get in people who are not disciplined?
We'll come back and attempt to answer some of these questions. Please stick with us. We'll go on this break and return. All right, welcome back. The police still in the air. Jide, constitutionally speaking, the policeman is the most powerful man on the streets of Nigeria, more powerful than the soldier. Constitutionally, he's the only man who can stop you and search you, the only man who can come to your house and search you, including a senator's house. But he has lost that power.
It is not as if he has lost that power.
Okay.
He has not lost that power. He has lost the respect that we used to accord policemen. The bad eggs, the black legs in the police have ruined the institution. They've given the institution a bad name. We are talking about responsible policemen. Your father, James Hussein, no one identified him with corruption. No one identified him with extrajudicial killing. until he passed on. Former Commissioner of Police in Lagos State. But what do we have? The force is bursting at the seams with birds of passage. You know, birds of passage, they are not people who ought to be with you. There are people who, for want of any other thing to do, they suddenly found themselves in the police. I know someone in my village who had a short fuse, a very bad temper.
Okay.
And this boy said he had to join the police. People had to do the utmost to make sure that he didn't get into the police. If that fellow had gone into the police, it would have been worse than those stupid policemen who wasted people's lives in broad daylight. You can't do that. You can't do that. People have been saying, scrap SARS, scrap SARS. There was a big campaign to have SARS disbanded.
Yeah.
And this IG said, okay, what do we do? He's trying his best to reform SARS. He came up with his idea of how SARS could be reformed. In fact, when we had this extrajudicial killing by policemen the other day, the IG had to come down to Lagos because people were very angry. The IG came down, and it was at that point I was saying, okay, we are going to look at ways by which we can ensure that these things do not happen again. And not long after, these guys have resumed killing people. Because this is not the only one that's happened in recent times. They can't turn Nigerians they can't use Nigerians for target practice. If they want to show people that they are indeed good at their work as snipers, let's take them to Borno North. Huge area. 8 out of 10 local governments, people are not living in them. No military presence in at least 8 out of 10. Where you see military presence, Monguno, Damasak, let's send them to that place to go and show their talent. Not people, are shooting. Not people that have no gun on them. You should only kill when your own life is threatened. Yeah. You can see someone holding a dangerous weapon by which it could endanger your life. If you take a life at that point, it's justified. Not someone who is restrained already, who at that point is powerless to harm you. So that is why I'm saying, what training even goes on? We just recruit all kinds of never-do-wells into the police. What training goes on before people are brought into the police? We have to do something about that.
Doctor, these are the bad ones. The last of the origins, the good ones, was Chioma Ajunwa. Policemen, over time, had produced champion athletes for this country. Sam Igun, Aboyade Call,
Sunday Bada,
Sunday Bada, and we had a central striker for the national team. Then they are called the Green Eagles. Sunday Oyarekwa, it was called the Bisco. Yeah, and so on. So, well, the police, the ball is in your court, or the court is in your ball. Kick it properly, because you can. Because you can.
Kick out the bad eggs.
Kick out the bad eggs.
Campaign to kick out the bad eggs.
You can. Because
just
you can.
giving the force a bad name.
Okay, then, we'll move on to our next story. Nothing can be too much or too little to take a decisive action against the bloodthirsty insurgent group Boko Haram. The counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast, also known as Operation LAFIYA DOLE, has a new head, Major General Olusegun Adeniyi. On assumption of duties, he revealed that a new offensive dubbed Super Camp, which was launched not too long ago, had become a mobile counter-insurgency operations against Boko Haram and the Islamic State West Africa province, ISWAP. But a few days after that, Boko Haram attacked a village in the Dalori district, 10 kilometers from Maiduguri, Borno state capital. Meanwhile, details have emerged about the grueling 7-hour gun battle between Nigerian troops and Boko Haram elements in the Gubio, LGA of Borno State. We hear insurgents who attempted to overrun the LG were beaten back. 3 soldiers and 11 insurgents were felled in the attack. We talk about this Frankenstein before us, all hands on deck. But GD, the military has a counter-offensive, dubbed whatever. Should we announce it?
Let me start by saying that we did not repel any attack in Gubio. That story is totally false. The governor of the state was misled that we repelled the attack, but we didn't repel the attack. We in fact lost 5 gun trucks, and they took over the base. Now, after taking over the base, the remnants of the troops were told to move to Damasak to join up with the military base there. So that story, as published in a section of the media, is a lie from the pit of hell. We didn't repel the insurgents in Gubio. And what actually happened after they succeeded in displacing the troops, they now came back. They came back to Gubio, and the result of that was what you saw yesterday, where they set ablaze all the homes of major politicians in the town, okay, and destroyed government institutions like the health centers, local government headquarters that had just been refurbished, and even a guest house, a government guest house. So we didn't repel any attack. I don't know where that story came from. People of Gubio have begun to run to Maiduguri now because they do not feel safe anymore, because the military base in the town is no longer has been dismantled. So they don't feel safe. Then the insurgents moved from Gubio to Magumeri, destroyed houses in Magumeri too, because there was no security presence there. They've succeeded in denying our people of security in many towns, because when they consistently attack a location, we'll stop deploying in that location. That is not the solution. I can tell you that in large areas of Borno North, you do not have security presence of any sort. I stand as a Nigerian, as a patriot to say this. I can count on my fingertips places where we have soldiers on ground in the whole of Borno North.
Not because we don't want to.
Because the enemy has forced us to alter our plans and our tactics about how to prosecute the war. The enemy has forced us to alter our tactics. Where you have like 3 military bases not far away from one another and in position to help one another by way of reinforcement when one comes under attack. What do? They make sure that they position themselves for a deadly ambush. And they've wasted troops in such situations in the past. So we are not fools. When it happens, you don't rush to the place to try to provide a kind of reinforcement, because they will definitely meet with high volume violence and many soldiers will be killed in the process. They are going to use IEDs. The road that you take to go and offer that reinforcement, they will put IEDs, they will put snipers, they will put gun trucks on the road, they will use anti-aircraft fire. So we have now, what the army now does is, from Damasak, we will move to Gubio, provides security for Gubio, but they are no longer staying in that place and saying they are sleeping overnight. But the truth is that the enemy likes to operate at night. So what do? While you've returned to Damasak, the military base, they will now come and begin to slaughter our people at night. So this is what is happening. I saw a Facebook post where someone was swearing at political leaders that any one of them who keeps quiet, that Borno North is almost totally taken over by Boko Haram, and we are keeping quiet. People can't go to their homes. The IDP camps are full. So when people move from Magumeri to IDP camps, then we are in trouble, because already the IDP camp in the garrison town of Monguno has almost 2 million people. So where do people go? The ones in Maiduguri too, they are bursting at the seams. So where do people go? The best that we can do is to provide security so that people can return I mean, remain in their homes. But if we can't provide the security and their houses get burnt and they kill the people, then they will have to become IDPs once again.
Doctor, you know, we're speaking at this hangout, not as military men, but as responsible journalists. You draw your conclusions from what's on the floor. I don't think government or the military high command would set out not to provide security. But mine is, when you have a counter-insurgency plan, must you voice everything? I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
No, I agree with that. But I'm sure what has been done has just been to give a name to whatever they are doing. The valid point remains where the power or the strength of the force that we have is far too thin for the kind of war we are fighting. It's far too thin.
Yeah. Most times it is not necessarily the number, but the strategy.
You need the number now.
I agree with you that the strategy is important, but also the number.
The number is important.
It's very important. I have covered the military.
The military have captured and recaptured many communities.
And then they leave.
Once you don't put troops on ground there, they will come back.
Okay.
They will come back. And then you have to go back and recapture. That's where the point that is making is valid. How many troops have we, what is
deployed
in Borno State? I don't think at any point we've deployed up to 50,000 troops in Borno State.
There was even a time we were talking about taking the civil defense there to secure some of this.
Backup. Yeah.
Yes. No. Once they take over a community, the civil defense goes there to sit there, and the police.
Civil order.
Yeah. But what do we have? They are not there. So the police, we were told, will be recruiting 10,000 per year at some point, but that's not been done. How many have we recruited since the coming of this government? Until we get our priorities right.
Doctor, don't run away with that. The president talked about 10,000 prospective recruits the other time. But before the statement landed, we had more than 300,000 entries from around the country.
Yes, but
the truth is that for many years we didn't recruit.
We did not recruit.
For many years we didn't recruit at all.
That's why the police college in Lagos went to the west, because there was no activity. Nothing was happening there.
Not even in Kano.
Not nowhere.
Policemen die every year. Policemen retire.
They retire,
and yet we are not recruiting. We are not replacing them.
So we still need to go back. Some have argued that the military, as it is, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force, that they are paying the price for the dislocation they caused in the police when they were in power.
The military era.
Okay.
Because they did not want the police to be able to counter whatever is happening. So now you look at the police. How many of them do we have?
Jide, that takes me back to the Alozio Gugwaja.
Yes.
When he made that statement.
So it's obvious that we are too thin on ground to contain the insurgency. They come in their numbers.
Yes.
They go, they plan. Unfortunately, we have people who are also moles, who will say this is how we are moving.
The troop movement.
And say this is the movement of the troops, so they know where to go.
And that's the real danger.
So
if you have, quislings amongst you.
That's why the other day when the military wanted to punish some soldiers who were trained in Jaji, and they were going to deploy them to the northeast, suddenly they disappeared. They didn't show up. On the day they were supposed to be taken to the northeast. So,
they didn't show up.
The army did the right thing by putting them on trial. And then some Nigerians who have no business interfering in military matters started saying, no, leave them alone. Why do they want to put them on trial? Which military institution will allow such indiscipline? You joined the army to fight, and then you were put to training. At the time when they were ready to deploy you, you now disappeared into thin air. I mean, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. Well, you can't do that.
Maybe they didn't join to fight. They join to make money.
What are they doing? We don't need such people in the army.
Well,
you see,
that's what
there are no doubt about it. There is indiscipline. There is lack of commitment.
Does it strike you to hear sometimes there are folks in the military, sometimes high up there, who are interested parties? This Boko Haram thing must go on.
We hear it, but
I don't.
You know, I only talk about things that I can defend, things that I can.
Me and here they hear. So I don't want to believe.
Just like we hear about the oil thefts too.
No? Me and here. I don't work there.
We need to. It's only things that we can defend at our level that we'll talk about. I can defend the fact that we have not defeated the enemy. I've demonstrated that many times. Even this Dalori that was attacked is the hometown of Alhaji Alibuka Dalori, the chairman of APC in the state. Yeah. I've mentioned big politicians who dare not travel to their hometowns because their hometowns are not safe. So these are things that I can defend. But I can't defend that maybe some general somewhere are making money from this because I don't have the evidence.
No facts.
Yeah, okay.
If they provide the evidence, then, but I don't have the evidence. I can only say things that I can defend. But we keep hearing it all the time that they don't want the war to end. So who is gaining from this?
Who is gaining?
Who is gaining? People are dying.
Who is gaining?
People are dying.
Doctor, please take us to Gubio.
Well, I think what we need now is a solution. One of the gaps already seen in this war, and as pointed out by some retired generals, and those, is this lack of effective coordination in this war. If we have
inter-service, intel exchange,
yes. If we have the kind of air force that we have in terms of experienced men, and we have war strategists who go even to the United States War College to go and deliver lectures, I don't see why what we did in Liberia, for instance, and
Sierra Leone,
we can't do a mini one in Nigeria. Fine. The enemies we are fighting, some of them are our own people. We know. So we don't want to kill arbitrarily. But when it becomes a matter of, like he said in the police case, somebody threatens your life, you don't have a choice than to defend yourself. So why are we not putting all of these experiences together to fight this war? What I have known in terms of, in my years of covering the military, in terms of command structure, is when there is this interagency collaboration, there is only one person speaking for the entire operation.
Yeah.
The army is speaking, the navy is speaking. Everybody is saying different things. The police command in Bono is saying its own thing. It shows that there is something wrong. So if, for instance, the army is somewhere and there is a problem, what the army needs to do,
Did you just hear him? He's saying it is politics.
Yes, it's part of it. It's part of it.
That politics, has it got a name? Do you have a name for it?
Well, I don't know what name we are going to give it, but like he said, there are some things that we are not privy to. They say some people are making some fortunes out of this war.
It's difficult to explain what's going on.
It's difficult.
Very difficult.
Almost every day you have attacks almost every day. Because these things, the question to ask is, when will this end? Will this go on like Tamil Tigers versus Sri Lanka?
Is it Dalori attack?
Yes.
Can we go there?
The Dalori attack, just like, you know, Dalori is on the way to Bama. That same road leads to Goza.
Yeah.
Now,
out of the town.
That area, Sambisa Forest is located close to that area. It is also, there is also a big IDP camp in that area. There were occasions in the past when Boko Haram even went into the IDP camp to kill people. Imagine going to kill people who are running away from you in the camps. Now, so that road from the University of Maiduguri area, passing through Dalori to Konduga, to Bama, to Goza, is a very dangerous road. Anything can happen. Once you move beyond that Dalori, Even Dalori itself. You know, there were occasions when they even came into the university premises to kill people. So even that, the Dalori itself is not really safe. Farmers get killed from time to time once they step into their farms in that area. So that whole area is not safe. It's not safe. That's why the Shehu Borno told the president that, look, if we move 5 kilometers out of Maiduguri, we get killed. So most parts of Borno State are not safe. That is the truth.
It's only the state capital.
The state capital, thoroughly safe, the most defended city in Nigeria, safe. You don't have any problem. But outside the state capital, no.
In fact, at some point, there were some roads in that state that you can't travel on except you are escorted by the military.
Even that sometimes they come under attack,
so what they do is that maybe once in 2 days, once in 3 days, everybody gathers, and then
you see a long 1,000 vehicles. They are going to trade.
When they finish, they bring them back in the evening. For a country where we've
come under attack in the past, what they do is they attack the middle of the convoy. Yes. It's a long convoy, hundreds of vehicles. They attack the middle.
That's to ensure a dislocation.
Yeah, so once they attack the middle, those women that were kidnapped, sometime was it in 2017, or wives of policemen that were...
That
was how it happened. On Damboa Road. They attacked the convoy in the middle. And then they took away the people that they wanted to take away. The governor of Borno State, the immediate past governor, he was going to campaign in Ongala area. The army warned him, don't go. He decided to go. What happened? His convoy came under attack from Boko Haram and they slaughtered people. They took some people prisoner. So this is the thing. We are not safe yet. We have not defeated the enemy. I've been saying it for years. People will think, oh, Jide is just, but we are seeing these things now. If we get attacked almost every day, our people are being killed, our people are being displaced, can we say we have won? No, we have not won the war.
Doctor, when America was hit on 9/11, much to the consternation of the entire globe, nobody saw it coming.
Nobody.
But the Patriot Act was signed into law by President George Bush Jr., but they kept stalking the enemy until they got him. So it's not out of place to do that here because we are not dealing with an enemy you can predict.
I think it's just like...
What does Boko Haram want? Is it like a broken record? Do you know what they want?
I think now nobody knows what anybody wants.
Okay.
Before it was give us a caliphate. Now nobody. Once the leaders were killed, those we could put faces to. Once they were killed, it's like even the followers don't even know what they want. Nobody can say.
Makes the situation even more.
This is okay. If they bring these people now,
they still want their own caliphate.
But if they bring them now to the round table and say, okay, let us talk.
They will not sit with you.
No, I'm even saying, let us even say it happens. To those who are fighting this war, do they really know what they want?
Yeah.
Do they?
Beyond being brainwashed?
Being brainwashed. Nothing else. For me, I think where we lost it.
Shekau faction.
Yes, where we lost it was not ending it in the first or second year when it started.
Yeah.
Once an issue like this lingers, it's difficult to put an end to it. Because you can imagine that in the last 10 years, these people have given birth to children whom they would have brainwashed and trained in this way.
Yeah.
And then the king keeps going. Are we going to get out of this?
Doctor, I'm told we must leave it there, but not before telling anybody involved in this shady thing, this heart-rending thing. If you sow in the wind, what's the phrase? You reap the whirlwind. Yes, that it's a hard fact of life. So the powers that be, we know what we want. I know even they themselves, they crave a peaceful environment for their businesses to grow. I wish as well it can be done. Dotun Oladipo, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You visit us regularly? We expect you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Jide, another Friday is here?
Yes.
And
I'm hopeful that this time
No, wait.
Live up to your perennial promise.
We wait for payday, please. Look at your calendar. Look at your calendar.
Boys are waiting. This time, if you don't take people out today.
Okay. You want a commitment?
I'm going to expose you to Nigeria.
Please don't. We'll meet in the middle somewhere. So that's it on the program for today and the week. Enjoy your weekend. But then if you missed any part of this particular edition, you may also watch the program on other platforms we'll show on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. And so on behalf of the entire crew, including the backroom boys, I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.